Hi, everybody. I know this lighting, I know it looks like I'm trapped in someone's basement right now. Like, blink twice if you're okay. Like, I'm figuring out the lighting. I'm figuring out all of that. But today, I thought we would talk about the bitch that is writer's block and how to, I can't guarantee this is going to help you smash past it, but just my experience with it, my thoughts on it. It's been a very long time of writing for me now, and I've dealt with it in a variety of ways, so let's dive into it. First of all, I wrote a post on it, I'll link it below for a little more in-depth detail, but for the most part, I think there's two main reasons that we have writer's block. One is you're actually burnt out and I'll dive into that in a second. And two is that you're wildly afraid of having your work judged in the public eye. I don't think that it's really so much of a, you're stuck, you don't know how to formulate things. Like, yes, that's like a small fraction part of it. And especially in the beginning when you're still trying to learn how things flow, emails flow, copy flows, blog posts, like all of these things, like the format of them. I get that, but there's so many templates out there that that's not really an excuse at a certain point, and then you're really just dealing with one of those two things. So let's dive into burnout just a little bit really quick. I have a vlogging channel, cringe, and in one of those videos, like I was really dealing with burnout, mainly because I wasn't building my business in a way that was sustainable, and I wasn't taking care of myself, self-care, all of those things, and the balance wasn't good. This was like, I think 5-ish years ago. I wasn't balancing things well. I've talked about this in multiple videos, and it really led to a creative burnout. And I know a lot of people think that like burnout's not a real thing, but if you're not sleeping more than 6 hours a night, if you're not working out, you're not hydrating, you're not taking vitamins, you're just working. I hit it hard and I just smacked into that wall as hard as possible. And there was a lot of like personal life things going on. So like it was like nothing around me was like helping to like nourish my spirit. As cheesy as that is, I had no hobbies. Like I wasn't balancing it well. So then when it came to being creative, because being creative requires so much of your brain to be thinking well, just like when you're sick and you try and work, it is a nightmare to try and get things done, and every single word is like walking through mud. So that's kind of like, and that's like on the extreme. That is like after years and years of compounding like things, and also adding in like family stress and money stress, and like all of those things combined into one can lead to a wildly creative burnout. And that just took me taking a few months off and like working on other projects and like balancing it well. I was also writing for clients that like I wasn't passionate about, and I really wasn't being firm and strict on my pricing and scaling my business. So burnout. I think that's extremely rare, and that's probably like 5% of writer's block, but it's a thing and something you should consider and think about depending on your situation. So if that's you, take time off, step away from it. But if you're dealing with the fear side of it, that's the opposite you want to do. You do not want to step away. This is not the time, because you need to smash that fear in the fucking mouth. I've heard YouTube censors and gets mad if you swear, but here we are, and too bad. So writing like all kinds of like art, and I say quotes because it just feels like, because it is so businessy, it's hard to call it like art. Like we don't associate it with like art, but it is art, and writing is an extension of you, even if it is business, and it's something that like you put your work into. So when someone says they don't like it or that it's like not what they want, it, especially in the beginning, it feels personal. It's hard to it's just hard to like get over, especially if you come from like a whole different world. Like I had a million jobs before I became a writer. I was a ski instructor, I was a personal trainer, I was a lacrosse coach, I did all these things, and like feedback in those jobs felt less personal. Like getting kids ready for like ski school and like making sure they have sunblock on and doing the whole checklist, like being like, oh, you need to tune the skis faster, is like, okay, I'll find a way to like be faster. It feels less personal and it doesn't hurt as much as someone saying that your writing sucks. You to know, one of my first writing jobs was on, I think Odest was the old site before it became Upwork. Oh, that was like in the very beginning stages. So I was in college like 10 years ago, and I was writing these emails for $5 an email. And this lady basically said like it was the worst thing she'd ever read in her life. First of all. So anyway, there's a whole nother side tangent of like low paying clients are also the worst to deal with, period. But that's another tangent for another time. The point is, on to writer's block. So it feels personal and it hurts a lot when you're starting out. And I think that that's the biggest thing that stops writers from putting their words into thoughts, because like you don't experience writer's block when you're texting your friends. You don't experience writer's block when you're on Discord. You don't experience writer's block when you're writing an email to someone you're catching up with. Like you don't experience it, so then it's not writer's block. It's you're hitting fear and you're worried that your work is going to be judged harshly and people are going to talk shit about your work or be upset or not be happy or it's not like good enough. Now there's a lot of ways to deal with this. Number one, know that if you've been studying copywriting, you've been writing, you've been in the industry, like, you've been learning. If you're on my channel, you've probably been learning or whatever it is. Just know that even by studying what you've studied, you probably know at least like 1% more than the person you're writing for. So keep that in mind. Your own research is just slightly more than what they know. And sometimes that's enough to justify them paying you because, and here's why, a 1% conversion rate improvement can be thousands of dollars. Even if you improve their copy 1%, that's thousands of dollars down the line for that company. That's how I justify it, and that's how I've been helping students who are like stuck, who are in my mentorship program with like being stuck on writer's block, kind of get their head around it. And obviously as you get better, you charge more, etc., etc. Let's move on. So how to smash past it. Number one, discipline. There's a reason that writers like Stephen King write 6 pages a day, and other famous authors who are at that caliber, John Grisham, J.K. Rowling, like went on like retreats and like rented a hotel and stayed away from everyone to like finish her books. Just pure discipline is some of the best things you can do, even if during that writing block that you have scheduled out in your calendar, because it should be in your calendar if it matters. Revert back to my productivity video. Even if you just sit there and doodle and write your thoughts and write a letter to a friend, write out some tweets, I don't care what you do. During that time, you're going to write. You're not going to dick around on Facebook. You're not going to check Instagram. You're not going to distract yourself with all these things. Just the second you open up YouTube or Reddit in the middle of your writing block, you just rest in peace your productivity. You cannot, no, I have never met a human being who can just like pull back from that and then get back to work. Like they can just check a thread and then get back to work. Nope, during that writing block, the most important thing is to build discipline if you want to smash writer's block in the face. Because a lot of times it's just purely just needing to get disciplined with your writing. Period. Like it's not writer's block, you're just undisciplined. Because I've experienced this. I know this. This is my life. Like there's a reason that the biggest writers, journalists, authors, historians, whoever writes has usually a schedule and they get things done and they have these blocks and they follow them. This isn't some mystical thing how Stephen King is able to produce the amount of work that he has. This is a science broken down into daily steps. That's as simple as it is. Now, of course, you have to be good and you have to practice and you have to get better and you have to edit and you have to blah, but that is the bare minimum. The second tip to smashing past writer's block is that you have to embrace that you're going to suck. You just have to accept that you're going to suck in the beginning. Like, so much power is in the editing process. Very few people smash it out of the ballpark their first time. They just need, if you have something down on paper, you can work with that. If you have nothing on paper, you can't work with any of that. You cannot mold it into anything because there is nothing there to mold. Okay. A third idea to use is to get away from your technology. Sometimes if I'm really just stuck, I will take a notebook, I will go to a coffee shop. Do not bring your phone. Do not bring your laptop. I will rage on this channel forever against technology. Even though I love it, obviously, here we are. I am always on my phone. Like, I understand the benefit of technology, but I also understand how detrimental it is. I mean, think of how many people that you talk to in a given day. How many of them are half of the time looking at their phone or get pulled away when a notification goes off? Or, like, we're all controlled by these little robots. I love them, but we're all controlled by them, and they will destroy your creativity and your productivity if you let it. So get out of your house, go to a park, bring a notebook. I know it's old-fashioned, but you'll survive. And just start writing. Even if the writing is like a brain dump. Sometimes I will brain dump 4 pages of just raging and something that's on my mind and something that's bothering me that's clearly interfering with my productivity because it's like a loop, going in the back of my head. Like, if a family member's like sick, like that, like rages in the back of your mind, like all the time, so you just gotta like get it out. And then like sometimes you will just end up working on your assignment because you brain dumped so much of that mental clutter, and now you can focus on your work. That is something I really do. That's something that really helps. In my apartment building, I'm lucky to have like an office area I can just like go to, and I don't bring any tech, and I just write in there. Helps so much. The fourth step is to stay with it when it's uncomfortable. When you hit that wall and you don't know what to say, and you're stuck on like how to formulate the next paragraph, or like it's just not flowing well, so many people will just like, let me check my email really quick. Yes, I will keep raging against technology, or they use that as an excuse to take a break. And sometimes, yes, don't get me wrong, sometimes you just need 5 minutes, but you set a timer, you go water your plants or like do some dishes, whatever, pet your dog, 5 minutes. That's it. And then you get back to work. You have to learn to stay with it when it's uncomfortable and when you feel that surge of uncertainty kind of come into your body. And the last one that I learned this in some book. I'll have to find out what book it was from. It was years ago when I was in college. And the tip was to write at the top of the page, general disclaimer in like huge bold capital letters. And just, it's more of a mental thing of like all the disclaimers that like, I especially see this with the people I'm like in my mentorship program. They're like, like I wrote this really quick. I was really tired. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it flows well. I don't know if it like, all of those disclaimers that we have in our head of like, why this isn't perfect yet, even though perfect is so subjective and it is a unattainable, because art and writing is so subjective and like, anyway, but just write general like all of those disclaimers and then get to work. I don't know. It worked for me a little bit when I was in college, especially when it came to like writing papers, because boy, were those boring, and I just couldn't. That was that was writer's block times 10. That was tough for me. It was not good. Anyway, that is it. Hopefully some of those tips helped. It's been a long time I've been writing, and I'm gonna do a future series on building my like more of the business end of freelancing, so less so than like all of the, I mean, like both, obviously I'll keep doing both, but I really wanted to start diving into some the back end stuff to keep people from that burnout, and things that help me still prevent that horrific mind-numbing burnout. Yeah. Anyway, that is it. If you have any questions on writer's block or anything that you use to like help smash it, because it's a bitch. So anyway, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. YouTube plug, subscribe, like the video. I'm also going to do like a weekly Q&A thing here soon. Let me just hammer out the details and then I'll let you know. Thank you for watching. Bye.